Between March and April 2022, Amina Atiq, a Yemeni Scouse poet, performance artist, creative and community activist, collaborated with 20 Stories High on Poet's Gift, 4 weeks of poetry and creative workshops with young Muslim people in Liverpool 8. Supported by Elmi and Nadia Anim, the different groups explored themes around identity, faith, hope, and a place of belonging. Amina then collaborated with visual artist Nadia Ali to develop the poetry visually to gift to the people of Liverpool at a very special bus stop at the end of Lodge Lane.
My name is Amina Atiq, and my role within the project, I was the lead artist but also co-producing this with 20 Stories High. So how the project began was I went into work and I met up with Keith, who's the artistic director of 20 Stories High, just asked me how I was feeling today. But I wasn't sure why the sudden question of how I was feeling today, specifically today. And it was only because the terrorist attack that had happened at the Women's Hospital, that question was specifically aimed at that. And as a Muslim woman, no one's ever asked me how I was feeling. And of course we feel, we're human. We're angry, we're grieving, it's our community, it's outside our doorstep. Of course I'm angry. And then that really sparked the conversation about where do Muslim voices actually exist within the artistic sector. And as a poet, I would never ever dared writing about my Muslim identity before, never touched upon it. Because I thought, well, why should I write about it? Who's going to be interested? I've got to write about being just Yemeni Scouts. Well, really, no, being Muslim, yes, I exist as a Muslim woman, but where does my works lie in it? And it just grew from that. It grew into working with young people, because it's really important to say, well, it's not about how I just feel, it's about also how do the young people feel in the city. And I think they're curious because it's a Muslim-only space. And that was interesting for me because prior to that, I never believed in like segregating and actually having allocated spaces. I believed in this, if we want to integrate, we have to mix. But really, no, I think sometimes you have to allocate these spaces. And this is why it was so important then we came about this idea of having it Muslim-led, from, you know, internal engagement to workshop support to graphic design. And it was just really amazing just to see it co-produced with the young people and having a young people's response, and then obviously as a poet just have my own personal response.
My name is Nadia Ali, and my role was to bring the poetry into life in visual form, because I'm a graphic artist, so I had to come up with a way to make the words pop. That was a fun exercise for me because usually I work with less text. There was a lot more text than usual, and I really enjoy working with different languages because I love Arabic. I don't speak it, but I love Arabic. I just love the way it looks, so it was fun to be able to incorporate that.
So my name is Elmi, and I was the pastoral and support worker on Poet's Gift. The intention behind it was to gift back to the community. Essentially, it's a group of young people coming together to be able to piece their words, their emotions, their feelings into something creative, and then gifting that back to this area. So gifting it back to the L8 area. We worked with a range of people. We worked with people who were working in the NHS, and we had refugees and asylum seekers in the same room. So to sort of get their lived experiences was absolutely amazing, if not emotional for me at some points. So I really connected with a lot of people that were in there, and to sort of get the young Muslims together in one room to be able to openly speak about, you know, their feelings, their emotions, where they feel they're at this time, where they want to go, where they're heading to. And some of the conversations we had were really, really warming.
My name is Nadia Anim. I supported Amina with workshops, so Amina was leading artists while I was supporting artists for it. I really like the idea of doing something for specifically the toxic area, because it is where predominant amount of Muslims in Liverpool live. For me, obviously I have my own version of growing up Muslim and growing up a woman on Lodge Lane. So it was really interesting for me now that I'm older to listen to younger people and hear them talk about their experiences and kind of understand for myself the differences between myself growing up like 10 years ago and them being 17 now.
My name is Lemeiss Alabidi. I wrote Chasing My Dreams, like you should chase your dreams. It was about like chasing your dreams and being free on the bus stop. So the workshop was really interesting and you learned a lot when you were with Amina. One of the stories was about like a ballet dancer and they were like, she loved ballet and she kept like doing it and she was chasing a dream, that's why I put Chase Your Dreams.
We had people from Bangladesh, Sudan, people from Yemen, people from Pakistan.
أنا اسمي خالد عمر وبالنسبة للبرنامج حاجة يعني.
I am Khalid. Regarding the project, I do not normally go forward for things like this. It was simple, but thank God I joined, especially today. I am so happy to be here celebrating with you all. The first day of the workshop I was scared. I did not know what to expect. But the next time we met, it was like I was with my friends in college. I feel very happy today. I feel like a famous person. I am here as people pass by on the bus stop. All is good.
أبقى في الطريق وفي باص استوب أمور طيبة يعني.
This project is about, for me, it's about representation of communities that are not usually represented. And for this project to be in this area in particular, where it means something to people, I think for me that's really important.
My name is Roma Muhammad. I like the hijab more when she talked because that happened to my sister. She was a bit nervous to wear it the first day in the school. It was nervous for her to be like not the same as like all, but then she started to wear it.
I think bus stops are an important place in our society, and I think bus stops are a place where people meet, where people run away from the rain, where you meet your locals and you have a little gap before you get on the bus. But also bus stops have, especially in Liverpool, you know, when we look at Anthony Walker being murdered at a bus stop, but also my own personal stories of racial and Islamophobia at bus stop, and also my peers who experienced racism at bus stop. And I think what we're doing, we're claiming a space, and the fact that people are getting to read these, coming off the bus to read the poems. I'm really excited to see what the conversation begins and where the conversation leads to.
I felt really happy, that I was included in the thing. Normally when I write stuff, normally people don't put it up. I'd be like, look, that's my name and I wrote that.